What is a dark night of the soul? If you have depression and you've come across this term, you might be wondering what it means and if it applies to you. Is it the same thing as depression? Is it a spiritual experience? How do you know if this is what is happening to you rather than the depression that we all know? And what are you supposed to do if it is? And that is what this video is all about, going over the basics of what it means when someone is talking about a dark night of the soul, including how to know if that is in fact what you're going through and what it feels like to experience one, at least in general terms, and how you can make the whole process go just a bit more smoothly. My name is Sarah Dawn, and I'm making videos for highly sensitive spiritual beings who are likely to experience things like depression, anxiety, and neurodiversity as part of their life's path and soul's mission. It is my mission to help you understand yourself, your life path, and the power you have to live a fulfilling and joyful life as your authentic self. So let's get started. What is a dark night of the soul? A dark night of the soul is deep and significant depression with a purpose. So I'm going to start out by saying that I personally believe that every incident of depression, no matter what, no matter how old you are, when it happens, how it occurs, what's going on, is actually your soul calling to you. And if you stop resisting it, that is when you will enter what we're talking about as a dark night of the soul. And this is not an easy choice. And we often choose to just stay depressed, the depression that we know, because honestly, as much as that sucks, it is so much easier because it's familiar and there's comfort in that. Usually a dark night of the soul is going to start with something really serious and devastating, such as grief and loss, losing something, things that are very difficult to handle. So a lot of the times you'll find that a dark night of the soul is a literal rock bottom. There's different rock bottoms we have in our lives, so it can happen at different intensities and at different times, but it will feel like a rock bottom when you're so low and with so much suffering that your human brain can't handle what it's being forced to go through, what it's being forced to deal with. So you seek answers elsewhere. You seek answers where you don't normally look. You seek God. So your life unfolds and unravels all around you until you can really only see darkness and despair. I mean, no joke, it really is a painful and intense experience. It's not easy, but the pain you feel is actually part of your experiencing what is called an ego death. As you realize old patterns, ways of thinking, and how you see yourself in the world are not necessarily true or accurate. It is all an illusion that is not in tune with your authentic self. You begin to realize that you are not whole or complete because things in your past have caused your soul to fragment and break apart. And now you're being called to work on yourself and begin to put the pieces back together and be you. But during a dark night of the soul, your ego really tries to just stay in control and keep you in a safe place. And you, in the meantime, your soul is just driving you to let go and face an unknown that, likely the world has been telling you your whole life is not even real. So it's really scary for your human side to do this. And it's really scary and difficult for a reason. It has to be. So why are dark nights of the soul so hard? It's because when life, with what you're dealing with in this physical world become more than you can handle, the ego actually begins to lose its grip on you. You start to question things too much. And so the ego loses control. And because you hurt so much, you begin to seek new answers. You look for answers elsewhere from wherever you've ever looked before. Like I said a minute ago, you seek God. You seek spirit, anything that can provide some relief and some answers. So if you've read my book, The Depression Warriors, From Pacifist to Warrior, you'll hear my story of going through a dark night. I didn't actually know that's what it was or what I was going through at the time, but I was pushed so far and I lost so much that I finally turned to God for answers. And that my first awakening then began to occur, especially since it was that very night I first heard an angel whisper in my ear. After this, when I began to emerge from the dark night, is when my awakening began. And I first thought, maybe we're cursed. What else could it be? We're cursed. That's how bad life is. And that actually sent me in the direction of looking at and understanding energy and universal energy and personal energy. I learned as much as I could about feng shui and implemented all kinds of cures, throughout my house in this attempt to make things better and understand why things were so bad for me. Then I remembered how much I used to love tarot cards. Back in high school and when I was in college, I really loved them and I was trying to learn them, but I gave them up out of fear when my father and that side of the family told me that tarot cards and anything like that were a doorway to allowing demons and the dark side into your life. But that is exactly the type of thing that while in a dark night of the soul and things are so difficult, that you start to let go of. You start to let go of that fear and everything you kind of thought that and you question it all. And you question it without fear because that ego is more out of the way and you're just more desperate to find answers, to find something. So for me, that led me to accidentally picking up a deck of angel cards. I went to the store. I was going to get tarot cards, looked at the angel cards, decided I didn't really want them. I wanted the traditional ones. That's where I was at. Somehow got home. I had bought the cards. I don't know how. It was a crazy thing. But when I pulled that deck of cards out and I saw them and I began looking at them, I went into a crying frenzy. It was so emotionally intense because I actually, for what seemed like the very first time in my life, I felt love and accepted for exactly who I am. With the depression, with the worthlessness, the hopelessness, all of it, I was loved just as I was with all of it in that moment. And so I asked the angels to be part of my life and to help me. And from there, I kept seeing angel numbers until I began working daily with my angels. And that was 12 years ago now since all of that began. And even after my initial awakening and I got started on all of this, I lost more. That dark night of the soul didn't actually just end. I kept losing more and more stuff, including getting evicted from where we lived. It just kept going. But what was happening is all of my past that I was trying to cling to was falling away. And this will happen. It's part of the healing that you're going through and all the shifts that you are experiencing. Things not in alignment with your new vibrational state that you are growing into will fall away and out of your life. And it could be everything. Absolutely everything. And what I really want you to know and understand here is that even while you are feeling bad, while you are in pain and hurt by whatever it is you are experiencing, it is not lowering your vibrations. Your vibes are not going down. All of that is actually the process of healing, awakening, and growing. It is authenticity. It is real. And all of that actually raises your vibrations. And that's why everything begins to fall away. And it may feel like you're losing things, like things that you want or need. It's going away and may feel like a negative thing at the time. But if you really take a look or give it time and then look back on it all, you'll realize that those things are or were not very good or very high vibrational aspects of your life. And they had to dissolve so that you could grow. So then I began to hear the angels more clearly and accurately well before my dark night of the soul was over. Because even though I still felt depressed and I still felt anxious and I was still going through all of that despair and that hurt and that pain, my vibrations were actually rising substantially. My energy and my life was changing even during the most difficult parts of it. So what does it feel like to go through a dark night of the soul? It feels like very intense, extreme depression. It feels like you're stuck in something so deep and so dark that you are going to break, when in truth, you're already broken. You'll beg God, the angels, or anything you may even slightly believe in to bring you relief. Just because the term dark night of the soul sounds a little nicer than how we normally perceive depression doesn't make it any easier of an experience. This is not depression light. It's straight up depression with a healthy dose of anxiety, most likely right along with it. Even heart palpitations are not uncommon to experience with this kind of depression and anxiety. It is intense. So why do dark nights of the soul happen? Why do we experience the suffering in life? A dark night of the soul is the beginning of a spiritual ascension. It's the awakening. It's like an alarm clock. It is time to wake up. And the universe, your soul, your higher self is going to make sure that happens because you are ready. Your soul decided to take this path before you came into this life to learn what you need to learn, to ascend and to grow into a higher spiritual being. And you probably asked for this to happen at some point along the way. You decided you wanted to wake up. You wanted to learn more. You wanted to seek the truth and know and understand the truth. And the universe is providing exactly what it is you asked for, putting you on your soul's intended path. And perhaps most significantly, this is a process of healing. This is where the healing of all your past can and will occur, where you'll face inner wounds, the false beliefs, and the wrong perspectives. You learn who you truly are in all your authenticity. You face all of the painful and the hard stuff so that you can be healed and release it. You collect all the fragments of yourself that have been lost over the years and you put yourself back together piece by piece. And it can be a long process. Dark nights of the soul can last years sometimes. And it will test your limits time and time again because that's the point. But honestly, by going through it, you will find so many blessings on the other side that it really is worth it. If you're going through a dark night of the soul or depression at all, what are some ways to make it just a little bit easier? Okay, because there are ways. So overall, the best thing that you can do is just let go and just surrender to the whole process and to divine will. That's not necessarily an easy thing to do at all. It can be very difficult for us and even scary. So let's go over a few ways to help you do that. First of all, number one, do not resist your feelings. Do not ever resist any feeling you have, no matter how painful, scary, or hurtful, no matter how much you don't like it. Do not ignore it. Always turn into these feelings. Never assume that a feeling exists just to hurt you or to make you give up on all of this. It is there for a much, much bigger reason. The scary thing to do is face it. It takes courage. The easy thing to do is to try to ignore it or to run from it. And number two, know that you are not alone. You are not alone at all. God, the angels, your spirit guides, ancestors. You have a whole team of spiritual beings that are there to support you and help you through this. And number three, know you are doing this for a higher purpose. Yes, it is difficult, it is hard and painful, and it doesn't seem fair or as if anybody should ever have to go through this. Yet you know in the end you will receive many blessings. And not only that, you will be helping everything and everyone else on this planet and beyond. Your vibes will be higher, you will be awakened, and your understanding of life will forever be changed and heightened. You will be new, and it will feel good. This will make you better, happier, and a more complete person, and the entire world will benefit from it. And number 4, learn to surrender. You don't know why, you don't know how, but you do know this is happening because it is your purpose. On a soul level, you know it and you feel it. Good will come if you turn into all of it and don't run away. Let it be what it is. Let everything just be what it is. Operate more as an observer of life and of the unfolding of divine will around you, rather than someone who is making this happen. And number 5, remind yourself that everything happens for a reason, and then let it happen. This is another form of surrender. None of this is for nothing, as long as you get on board and allow it to happen. Because keep in mind, that which you resist persists. So don't resist. Remember, this is for your best and your highest good. You may even try thanking the universe and your higher self for even putting you on this healing path and in this intense depth of healing that you're going through, and for helping you heal and uncover all of your inner truths and to find all those pieces and fragments of your authentic self that have been lost over the years, and helping you find and know everything that it is you need to know during this process. Focus on the gratitude that you have for the opportunity rather than the pain you must endure to get through it. And finally, be sure to subscribe, because I have got a lot more videos coming to help you with your ascension and how to deal with the more challenging aspects of being a very powerful spiritual being. And also, don't forget to check down in the description below, where you will find links to my blog and my books all about earth angels, light workers, angel numbers, and connecting and communicating with the angels. And of course, stay connected and join me over on Facebook and Instagram, where I love to interact with you all, and I try to provide some useful content to help you along your path, such as daily angel messages. And as always, I'm sending a ton of love and blessings to you all. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, where I can remind you of just how amazing, wonderful, and incredible you are. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.